Hi, everyone. My name is Ikea,
I'm Jazz.
and this is the Lindsay Sisters podcast. And just a quick disclaimer, this is our first episode. So, no, we do not have the works that people are used to seeing on a lot of content creators, YouTube channels, and things like that. So, bear with us because we just started. The first thing we are going to talk about is self accountability. So, when you think about accountability, what does self accountability mean? So, the definition that I pulled up because some people do not understand self accountability, also known as personal accountability, is a way of living in which you take responsibility for your own actions and your life. So, Jasmine, what would be your perspective on accountability?
Well, to like piggyback a little bit off of that, is also um you taking responsibility for your actions. You learn from your mistakes. You quickly recover from any impulse to blame other people for something that you did or you took part in. It helps you to stop ignoring the problems and hiding from your shortcomings. So when it comes to accountability, to be honest, I feel like a lot of people don't take accountability for the things that they do. You know, like you'll do something, somebody call you on it, and then you're quick to blame somebody else or to give a reason behind why you're doing what you're doing to justify that you were right in the actions that you took against yourself or someone else. And I think it's a conversation that should be had amongst a lot of people as to what's keeping you from being accountable. What's the problem? Because I don't understand.
Right. And I think most of the time it is ego. I think that's our biggest thing is ego because when you're when you do something or you say something that's foul or whatever the case, be it action or verbal, in that moment we feel like I'm right. What I'm saying is right. So I have this right to act out or be enraged or do this despite how you feel about it because I feel like my reasoning for being upset it equates to this is the reaction you're going to get. And sometimes that is wrong. And a lot of times taking accountability for that is you don't want to say you're sorry because you feel like what you did is justifiable. And that's not always the case.
No, it's not. And unfortunately, it can result in um, broken relationships.
Most
Um,
definitely.
you could hurt somebody in a way by not being accountable for your actions and also being able to change them, that you sever a connection that maybe you didn't want to sever or that was actually there for your benefit as a blessing, and now it's gone because you couldn't be accountable. um the thing with this life is we don't come into the world knowing everything. We just don't.
Right.
And as you go along in the life in this life, you should be, at least in my opinion, picking up on lessons. Like, for instance, when you were a kid, you were told not to touch the stove because it's hot, right? Now, as an
Mhm.
inquisitive child, you might be like, "Well, is it really hot?" You touch it, you got burnt. Lesson learned. It's true. It's hot. Don't touch it. You take that with you for the rest of your life. Okay, well, I know when the stove is on, I'm not going to touch it. But it seems like for some people, they don't learn the lesson. So it's a repeat and a repeat and a repeat. And then what I've found is that you find yourself alone.
Yeah.
Don't nobody want to deal with that. No one's
No.
dealing with that. People these days are starting, some people are starting to come into an awakening they didn't have before. They starting to realize, like, I don't have to deal with you and your bullshit. That's a disclaimer too that we didn't mention from the beginning. We cuss.
Yeah.
So
That's gonna happen. It's gonna be. It ain't. It's gonna be a slip here, there, everywhere. So I'm not really gonna say this is targeting anybody under the age of 18, because most of these topics are going to be aiming directly at adults, no children. There may be an occasional where we might pick up on talking about children, or raising kids, or just teaching them, training them up in the way they should go. But as far as like kids tuning in, this is definitely not that type of podcast.
Facts.
No offense to anybody's kids.
Right.
Tom and Jerry is down the street.
Another disclaimer for this podcast: we are real blood sisters, and so we understand each other. This is not the glamour show. Like, we're not finna get on here and be super glammed up and trying to give you something that's not real. I might get on here and my hair be all over my head. I might be looking jacked up. But the purpose of the podcast is to show that we are human.
First, before
Right.
anything.
We're real, and this is real life. Like, some people get on here and sell you a dream. You're not finna get that with this podcast. And if that's what you're looking for, next podcast. Because this ain't it. This is not that.
It's not. We're gonna be who we are. This is who we are in real life, and this is who we'll be on the internet. So that's the best we really can just tell y'all. So
At this point. But back to accountability.
mm-hmm.
We've all had instances where we could have been accountable and didn't. We hopefully have had at least one experience where something happened and you was like, oh yeah, I got to be accountable for my actions. If you haven't had that experience yet, hopefully you do. Hopefully you don't have to learn the hard way. It was a situation where I had to learn the hard way, and it was a real hard lesson to learn. Real close with a person. I want to go like too much into details because I haven't gotten permission to speak about this from them. But real close, real cool. I'm just living my life the way I'm living my life, and I'm not being accountable or aware of the things that I was doing that wasn't good for them. And one day it just came out of left field. It was like, listen, Jazz, I don't fuck with you no more. And I'm like, wait, what? It was shocking. It hurt my feelings. I was sad, angry, all of that. And they really cut me off. Like, stop fucking with me altogether. And I'm like, what? I went through a series of things. I was angry at first, like, how dare you? You know, do you know who I am type situation. And it took me about 6 months to a year to realize what I did wrong. Then I had to humble myself and apologize. And it wasn't hard to do once I got in that space. It wasn't hard for me to call and apologize to this person because at that point I had gotten deeper into self-love and trying to help and heal myself, that I realized that even if they never accept my apology, my apology was for them, but it necessarily wasn't for them. Just as they say, forgiveness is not for the other person. I called and I told them that I accepted full responsibility for the part that I played in the breakdown of a friendship. I explained that I took them for granted. And at that time, I did. I expected a certain level of care that at the time I wasn't willing to give, and not even just willing, I couldn't give. They accepted my apology. We cool now. I was able to salvage the relationship.
Yeah.
But being able to be accountable is something that's really important. Sometimes, really, that's all you really need in a relationship, whether it be friendship, business partnership, siblings, whatever. Like, sometimes it's just a matter of saying, I'm accountable for what I did. Like, I did it, and I accept responsibility for it.
Yeah. And then, like I said, if you're not in the right mind frame, accountability is going to go over your head. You're going to feel like everything in life that you do is justifiable. It is not until you're willing to self reflect, look back on your actions, all the things that you did, rather it be pertaining to yourself, a family member, friend, relationship, whatever. It's that moment because, yeah, I mean, similar situation. Yeah, when you don't want to take accountability, I look at it like this. There will come a time and a place where you will have to, where you will be forced to. But in this case, I don't feel like it was so much as force, but it was force, and it was a higher force for me. Um, when you do have certain people, because you're not gonna, I just don't think that any human being is lucky enough to get several handfuls of good people entering your life. You're gonna get more bad apples than you are ever gonna get good ripe apples. So for the good ripe ones, you definitely want to be be very, very, very aware of your energy that you exude around them and the energy that they exchange with you, because I was like that. I had a person that was a great person. Still to this day, I can't say anything negative, because I ain't gonna say a person doesn't have negative things about them, because we all have our own demons that we fighting with. Whether it be personal or it's known to the world, everybody has things that they're dealing with. But this particular person, for me, was always trying to help, rather it be, hey, like, I might need this looked at, and they'll go out of their way and they'll go do that. Or, hey, like, this is what I'm kind of thinking, and they kind of give you some input, give you some insight. A lot of times when I would be negative about certain situations, this person was always like, don't think of it like that. Think of a solution. Don't look at the problem, because focusing on the problem ain't going to help. And I used to get mad about that a lot. Like, don't tell me how to feel. That was like one of those hardest things, was learning how to not let the problem control my overall being. And so down the line, when you look back and you realize what that person has done, and then you look at how negative you were towards them, and the person is trying to help you, you realize, okay, now I'm going to humble you, but I'm going to humble you with non existence. And so I'm just glad that in a short amount of time, I came to that conclusion, is like, that's not the person that I want to be. I want to take accountability for my actions. I have to apologize for my actions. Like, I can't be like, nah, it is what it is. I mean, and sometimes too, and I'm just gonna hit on this really quick. Don't be so quick to delete everything that you get, whether it be an email, a text message, or something, to people that matter to you, because sometimes in communication, you will see the ugly side of you. And if you still have that, you can go back and just look. And when I tell you, I have looked back at some of the things that I said, and I felt ashamed. I felt ashamed, like, damn, I'm so caught up in self, so caught up in justifying who I am. I didn't even realize, like, you just, and me, I can text without looking, especially when I'm mad. It's like, like that Kermit the Frog typewriter
Right.
situation.
That's most
That's
people
like me,
these
like,
days.
hold on. So I did that, and I went back and I read it. And then it was one particular paragraph that was sent. And when I say that, like, literally opened the door to, like, you're wrong here. When I say, like, I was down on my knees praying, I don't pray on my knees a lot. I need to, but I don't. But that particular time, because it was in the midst of everything that was going on in my life at that time, after going through that, I had to literally get down on my knees and pray for forgiveness. I had to pray for forgiveness, because I was like, God, I was so ugly. This person was a good person to me, and I was so ugly, because I was caught up in myself and not wanting to take accountability. And over, it was the simplest things that that was being asked, and I did not deliver, because I was too caught up in self. And so taking accountability for that, you have to get into that mind frame that in order for me to get better, I cannot get better by ignoring what happened yesterday. I got to deal with what happened yesterday. I can't go change it, but I can change tomorrow. I can change now, but I cannot do that until I acknowledge. I can't go nowhere in life until I check myself first. A million people can check you, but that ain't nothing. But when God check you, well,
Listen,
that's the whole.
okay,
That's the
that's
whole. Oh,
listen, because the situation that I had, it was one of those, oh, okay, you want to keep playing? I got you. And God was like, I'm going to remove this person. And I relied so heavy on this person that when they was gone, I was like, uh,
you don't feel the same.
no,
You feel
when
that
I woke up
emptiness. You
real
feel
quick,
that space.
I'm like, oh, wait a minute, hold on, wait, it's just me. What's going on? Like, what's happening? I think a lot of people don't take accountability because they weren't taught to do so.
That's
I
true.
think people don't take accountability because they are spoiled. I think people don't take accountability because it's easier to just blame things on other people. As we're speaking, there is a situation that happened maybe 3 or 4 years ago that I have not apologized for, and it is bothering the shit out of me. And I'm just being completely 100% honest. And while you talking, it has resurfaced, and I'm sitting here hearing, you want to do all the stuff in your life and you want to, progress. But until you apologize and take accountability for the ugliness that you had in this situation where I felt I was justified because I felt like the other person was being acting funny. I didn't have to act the way that I did. And I really hurt this person. And I need to apologize. I have yet to do it. And I've been hearing this for maybe a month now.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I'm just be honest. I don't
But
want
it's
to.
the growth because if you don't, then they'll hold control of you. And
True.
so you have
It's
to. Because you don't have to apologize and then be friends again or whatever. It's apologize, recognize what was wrong. They don't have to accept the apology. That's on them, but you gave it. Because it's just like if you bless somebody with something, how they choose, what they do with it after it leaves your hand is out of your control.
which
But
is
you did
true.
your part.
Which
So you look at it like that.
but I also got to look at it as I'm trying to figure out what I could have done better. Because if I have to be honest, this person really was acting like, are you for real? Like, no, this is absolutely wrong. This situation is wrong. We didn't come into this agreement for you to do that. And now you've left me in a position where my back is against the wall. So, and out of frustration, I did what I did because it's like, come on now. It's me now. It's more than just apologizing for me. It's a situation where I have to figure out how I could have done it better. Because I still feel like in this particular situation, what I said wasn't wrong. The way I said it was wrong.
Mm.
And so I still have to come to terms with that part. And I think that's why I haven't apologized yet, is because I haven't come to terms with that part just yet. I'm going to get there eventually. And then I'm going to get on this podcast and be like, so I did it, y'all. I apologize
Yeah.
for that particular situation. But, I'm the type of person, podcast or whatever, don't look at my nails, that likes to give homework. I challenge any and everybody who watches the live and resonates in some shape or form to start with yourself. Hold yourself accountable. But there's something specific
Task.
I want. You need to hold yourself accountable for where you are in your life and how you got there. Because a lot of us look around every day when we wake up, we don't like our apartment, we don't like our car, we don't like our job, we don't like our spouse, we don't like our friends, we can't stand our kids. We don't like our
I don't
family.
got them problems. No. No, I don't got them problems. So I don't know about that, y'all.
But we're just unhappy with our situation. And we have to take accountability for how we got in that situation in the first place. How you get in that job you don't like? How did you end up with that spouse that you don't like? Like, how did you get there? Be accountable for the what you've done, the
For your
decisions that
part,
you
yeah.
made or did not make that put you there. And then apologize to yourself.
And that's one thing too is, yeah, it's not always about apologizing to the person that you might have hurt or whatever action that you did. It's sometimes you got to apologize to you because again, yeah, sometimes you can move too quickly in life. You can make a decision without thinking of it in depth, where it might lead you, what might be the consequences, whether it's negative or positive. And that's the same thing with jobs too. Sometimes we don't like the job, and 9 times out of 10, today in today's time, people are taking the job because they got to have something. So, and of course, that's another discussion for another podcast time because that need to be talked about. These jobs out here trying to play with people's emotions and their livelihood. That's the biggest thing, but we'll get to that. So, yeah, you have to. So, after you finish apologizing to everybody else, do apologize to yourself, but then come up with a solution for yourself, too. How can you stop yourself from getting to that place again? Rather it be with yourself or someone else or just anything. How can you be better? Because you got to ask yourself questions just like you willing to go ask somebody else questions. Or why am I angry? Why am I upset? So getting to the root of the problem is going to be the answer for all your reactions. Understanding why. Why are you so triggered? And 9 times out of 10, and I'm guilty of it too, is certain things that are deeply rooted, you can find yourself taking them out on people in your life that was not there for that. They didn't know about that. And you didn't want to talk about that because I was like that too. Like I used to feel like a person who was always trying to dig in my past, and my answer would always be, "You wasn't there when it happened, so I don't owe you an explanation." Fast forward now, that's not true. I ain't saying you got to give a person every bit of you. Every bit of your past is not owed, but certain things that are the reason why your reactions are triggered in negative ways, let a person know because if you don't give them something, you leave them without a choice. Like if I was a murderer, and full disclaimer, I'm not, I ain't killed nobody or their mama. Uh, but if I, hypothetically, if I was and I got away with it, but I got a problem with reacting, and the first thing I want to do is do that. And then let's say I want to be friends with a person, or I decide I want to get in a relationship with a person, and I don't tell them, I am taking away their choice. Everybody don't want to be with a murderer. I don't. I don't. So, but if I don't tell you, how are you to know? And find out later, that's that shocking thing. And so, get to know a person first. Literally, just get to know a person and make sure that you are fully aligned in your growth, and that person who you want to get to know, that you want to have closer to you as a friend or whatever, make sure they align with who you are. So if you don't like to take accountability, do not expect the person that you want to be friends with or in a relationship with to take accountability for their actions. How are you going to tell somebody to take account for something and you don't even take account for nothing? That's hypocritical. I can't tell you to be truthful if I'm not truthful. I can't tell you to be trustworthy if I'm not trustworthy. I can't tell you to say you're sorry if I can't say I'm sorry. That doesn't make any sense. So you have to. You have to take accountability. Let the ego go. Ego don't pay no bills. Pride don't pay no bills. It's a lot of stuff. Everybody got skeletons. Let's just be clear. So there's not a perfect soul out here. So you saying I'm sorry, you realizing your mistakes, that does not make you a bad person. That makes you a mature person. That makes you an adult because you're willing to do the work that is necessary to get to the next step. But if you're going to be like, oh, I ain't doing that, don't expect nothing else. Don't expect anything better beyond that day, because it's you're gonna always come back to that same situation that you was in. You're gonna see those problems. You're gonna keep on going, because again, life has a way of showing you what you put out, you will get back. So if you lack accountability, accountability is gonna lack in your life with other people. They might do some things to you that you don't like, and you ain't gonna get what you want. And that's just the hard truth sometimes.
Um, so with that, one thing I noticed in my healing journey was that I knew that I wanted things to change, but I didn't know how. And I was constantly watching podcasts and listening to podcasts, watching people videos, and they would say all these things, but the one thing they never ever talked about was how the hell to do the shit. Okay, you want me to be accountable? How I do that? Well, this is gonna be the podcast where you learn how to do some things. Granted, we don't know everything, and the best thing we could do is talk from experience. But what I've learned when it comes to just about anything, and this will also be a topic for another podcast, is getting to know yourself. How do I get to know myself? Sit your ass down
Get
with
by
just
yourself.
you.
You. I
So
swear to God.
I had to do that. I want to say it was 2020. Um, I had a nervous breakdown at work, and my job pushed me out. They was like, "Yeah, we love you, but you gotta get the fuck out of here doing doing that. Take some time and figure some things out." And I'm like, I pretty much literally begged them not to. I'm like, I can't do that. I said, and this is what I said. I said, if you send me home for these amount of months, it's just gonna be me. I can't be by myself. That first was the first revelation, to be able to say I can't be by myself. There's so many people out here that cannot be by themselves, and that's why they jump from one relationship to the next, one friendship to the next, and they constantly looking for people to always be around them because they cannot be alone. And that's the first sign that you don't need nobody else around. So what I did was, because I didn't have a choice, they was like, yeah, no, you gotta go. I went home. I sat on my bed and I was like, what do I do now? I'm finna be here for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had some books out on my bookshelf. I'm a reader. I love to read. And I had a few Joyce Meyer books. Joyce Meyer is all about God and self help and all of that. So I started reading them. And then from there, I found myself in a place where I just wanted things to change. I wanted things to be better. I wanted to stop feeling like I would succeed so far in my life, but could never get past a certain level. I got tired of having people around me that would say, oh, I love you, or, we real close friends, or whatever the situation may be, but then they would always leave at a certain time. A lot of people, when they say they love you, and again, this is another topic, it's not necessarily that they love you. They love the idea of you, but
Your
it's not you.
existence. Yeah.
So my suggestion is to sit by yourself, and this could be part of a meditation if you like. Sit in the closet, the bathroom, the car, your room, wherever you can be alone and not distracted. I have
Mm-hmm.
children, so sometimes I hide in the closet. And just close your eyes and let your thoughts run rampant. Just let them go. Give yourself about 10, 15 minutes. Open your eyes and then analyze what you thought about. Oh, I was thinking about what I'm finna eat for dinner. Then I thought about, oh, I got these bills I need to be paid. Oh, then I thought about the fact that I don't want to go to work tomorrow. Just analyze all of that. And try to see if any time in that 10, 15 minutes your mind just went blank. If it didn't, and again, this is from experience, Ask yourself what you need. Just say self or call yourself by your name. My name is Jasmine. So, Jasmine, what do you need? And then get quiet. Your answer may not come to you right away. Like, it's not necessarily something that's going to fall out the sky. Don't look for that. In order to hear, you have to put the distractions down: the phone, the TV, music, whatever it is that keeps you occupied or you do in your free time. Put it down and tune in with yourself. That voice you hear, your conscience, that inner God of yourself, that's who you need to listen for. And it might come to you in a voice you hear in your head. It might come to you. You might walk out your closet or wherever you're sitting at and look at something, and there'll be your answer. Or someone will call you and say something to you, and that's your answer. Just put the distractions down. That's what helped me to start the process. And then once I got an answer, it's almost like a puzzle you putting together. You'll get a piece of the answer or the answer, and then you have to build off of that. Healing, the self journey, is a never ending journey. And that's one thing I did not understand. I thought once I fix something, heal something, accept something, that was it. Negative. As long as your soul is within this earthly vessel, you will forever be learning, healing, and moving forward. If you staying stagnant or the people around you are staying stagnant, you need to keep it pushing,
You need
because
to get away from
nothing is supposed to stay the same. Everything is supposed to change.
it. And without change, that means you're not growing. And another thing too is people have this thing where they say, "Well, you changed." That's
That's
one of those things. Yeah, that's one of those things people will say that because you'll be a certain way at one point in time in your life, but you'll be surprised. I guess this might be why they say never, which you'll never do. Because at one point in your life, you might feel strongly about it, whereas later on down the line, you might change your mind, and that's okay. So sometimes people will make you feel bad for changing, but if that is what is helping you grow by loosening up on what you're hanging on so tightly, like this ain't what I want, and sometimes you have to take a step back and look at that. But then if you do change your mind, ask yourself why. Why now? And a lot of times it is because yes, you have gotten a little older. Like I don't want the same things that I wanted when I was 18. I don't. Honestly, I don't know anybody. I mean, unless it was like my like career goal or something like that. Yes, those are going because those align with me. But I mean, things that I could want today and no longer desire tomorrow. I don't have those same desires as I did when I was 18. Because at 18, I didn't know who I was. Honestly, I think that whole thing of go to school, graduate school, go straight to college, get out of college, jump right into that career, to me, that's the wrong way to go. How are you getting to know who you are first? Honestly, I think take a year or two off when you graduate and go travel, see some different stuff. Those friends you was friends with all the way up through school, figure out what their plans are first. Don't take some of them people on your journey across the world or whatever you're going to go and do because they might not see the same thing. Well, they're not going to view life the way you view it anyway. You don't see through the eyes that I see through. I can give you an idea, but you're not going to understand it fully through the eyes of me. You're only going to be able to understand to your own understanding, right? So, when accounting for your growth and your changing in life, you don't feel bad about that. And nobody should make you feel bad about you changing if it's in a positive way. Now, you go turn into a crackhead tomorrow, I'm gonna have something to say
exactly,
about
exactly.
that.
Because my thing was, I've had people tell me, like, you changed, you're not the same. And my sister know me, but everybody else don't know me. Like, I get, when I'm talking about something, especially something I'm very passionate about, I get very animated when I talk. I talk with my hands, I talk with my body, like all of that. And so, and I cuss. And so I'll be like, Bitch, ain't nobody supposed to stay the same. Like, what? That don't make no sense. You still doing the same shit you was doing when you was 15 and you fucking 30 now. Like, what type of shit? And anybody who's fucking not holding you accountable for not changing, you need to change your circle. Because if you're not finna
That
get
is
on me about what I'm doing when I'm doing wrong, I don't want you around me. I need somebody around me. I need people
that's
around me
gonna
that's gonna be
stay
like,
on you.
yeah, they're gonna
That
be
is
like, Jazz,
gonna,
you wrong.
and that's the thing about self accountability too. I'm telling you, when a person stays on you, they give a damn, okay? And you and this getting mad thing that you're doing, right? As a person is telling you something and they're not telling you anything wrong, do not get mad at them. Because you got a lot of people who go out here and tell you what you are doing wrong is right. Don't feel bad about that, girl. Cause they don't understand, but I get why you don't know. That person telling you that ain't willing to check you, say you know you dead ass wrong, cause they don't give a damn about you. And that's facts. They don't. And that's why honestly I feel like keep a small circle. And that circle needs to be full of people who are you need some of them who are smarter than you. Stop being intimidated by smart people who are smarter than you. It's okay. That's where you're gonna learn. I can't learn from a person who knows everything that I know. What the fuck we gonna tell you different? Take advantage of those people who know more than you do, who've been here longer, because you can teach them something coming from your generation, and they can teach you something coming from a past generation, right? That are older than you. So somewhere they align with each other. Now, yes, you are going to get some people who, like I said, who won't understand it. But again, just understand what self accountability means. It's self, your actions, your reactions, things that you do wrong. And it's not always got to be super bad. You might have told yourself, I'm going to go back to the gym at the first of the year. And today's January 22nd. I ain't been in the gym yet. I got to take accountability for that. And that's a real true story. I was supposed to win in December and started my year like, finna, get back on this iron. I ain't been in there yet. But it was a few setbacks, but yeah, you still gotta take accountability. I didn't do it. So yeah. But I think that pretty much concludes for this topic at this particular time. So now we're just kind of going to give you a little insight on who we are. Again, I'm Ikea. This is my sister Jasmine. We are blood sisters. For those of you wondering, yes, we are in two different locations, but we both are.
She at home, I'm at home, basically.
Yeah. But just put it this way, we both like in within the same reach. We ain't too far. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So like the podcast started because my sister just texted me one day and was like, "Hey, I want to do a podcast. I want to do a podcast with you." And I was like, "Okay." Um. So like our purpose is to teach, but at the same time, like it's not a situation where we're being judgmental or we're better than you or that type of situation. This is really like a fun platform for us to talk, us to say our opinions. Understand that we have opinions. One thing our dad always says is that opinions are just like assholes. Everybody got one. Hence all the podcasts that's out these days. We're
Mhm.
not screaming we know facts. That this is written in a history book somewhere and that our way is just the best way. Nah, this is just a way where we can connect with people from all over the place to let y'all know one, you're not alone. We
Exactly.
all struggling with something. It just ain't the same struggle. We all fighting with something. It's just not the same fight. And we've all, in one way or another, have experienced the same things, maybe with the opposite sex or in a different way, but it's all the same. And this is just this is our real version of it. This is a podcast where you can agree to disagree and we can still be cool at the end of the day. This is not a podcast where we want to be arguing and going back and forth with somebody who doesn't agree with the things that we say. Next podcast.
Thank you. Or you can find someone else to argue with because it ain't gonna be us.
Nah, we
I
ain't.
mean, we did this because one of the things about me, I'm a very, very passionate speaker. And for people who are passionate speakers that can identify with what I'm saying, when I get passionate about a topic, my volume fluctuates sometimes. And people think I'm yelling. And so, far warning, I ain't yelling. I'm only talking, but my volume gets higher. And again, if you're not a passionate speaker or someone who understands what passion is, you ain't gonna get this. But just know I'm not yelling at you. If I'm not cussing every other word, which people who know me know, when I get to every other word, oh, you mad, yes. But if I'm just, but if I'm just talking, my voice does get up, and so especially when we get on it to get on certain topics like pertaining to the world, what we dealing with right now, and this, I don't even know what to call it anymore because it honestly, that's another, yeah. I get very passionate about that, especially when I'm telling you, like I'm having a conversation with people and I'm telling you, take heed to what is going on, not as a joke, because again, a lot of stuff be put in our face and we are oblivious to it. You have to strengthen your discernment so that you can understand and decipher the difference and what is really going on in front of your face. Reading between the lines, sometimes you are not always going to get it in a particular context. You have to be acceptant of that. And that's just what it is. But I'm a very passionate person. I'm an artsy person. I love everything about art.
Mm-hmm.
I like to color coordinate. That's
Yeah.
where I comes in there at. It's not me, oh, well, I just want to come off a particular way. No, I'm a Scorpio. So I don't be worried about how I come off. I'm a Scorpio. And Scorpios, y'all know how we are. We're Scorpios. We don't care. This
Well,
is
I'm
it.
a Capricorn, so
Yeah, she's a unicorn.
so we're a little bit different.
Barbie. No, I'm just playing.
We're a little bit different. Like we're
Ain't no
gonna
way.
clown
A
one
Capricorn
spot,
is that unicorn thing, right?
huh?
Ain't that what a Capricorn is? Ain't it a horse?
So there's so many different versions of what a Capricorn is, and it really irritates me because people will literally tell me that it is,
A
and then there's
unicorn.
another version of a Capricorn where it's the top half is a unicorn and the bottom half is a fish. And
But
so
it
I'm
might
like,
be.
why did y'all come out? Why is
That
people
might be the Chinese version because someone tried to tell me the Scorpio on the Chinese calendar or whatever. I don't know if it was a sheep or a goat or something. And I was like, child, you got me bent. I
right?
wish I
And
was. I'm not a sheep in real life, so I know God wouldn't do me like that.
well, then they say that Capricorn is a goat too. So I mean, it's it's a whole lot
I'm
of
a Scorpio. The thing with the pinchers is small. You can't see us, but you will feel us if
a
we get a
scorpion
hold
thing.
to you.
One of them
Yeah.
scorpion things with the ink.
Yes. The thing that when you go to Vegas, that's the thing to do to ask for that scorpion shot with the live scorpion and you swallow it.
Oh
Yeah.
hell,
They do that for real. Now,
yeah.
I'm a Scorpio, so I feel like I don't need that shot because it's already in me. You trying to get a taste of it. And good luck on the way down. That's all I'm going to say. I feel bad for your intestines and the other end that has got to come out because your stomach acid ain't strong enough to break down the shell. Like, no. But
No,
yeah, we're just here to
be fun
speak
and
our mind on how we feel.
teach you a
And
little
then I
bit
was
of life.
like, who would be better to do a podcast than somebody that is the same DNA as you? And because in a lot of ways we are alike, and you don't get to see that. There are certain things that we've already done that are the same. It's like, dang, you did it, yeah. Oh, okay.
I
When
bump my
again,
head
we're
too.
in two different locations, but we both are from Buckeye City. We both are from there. We just don't live there now, but home is home. Oh, and shout out to the Cincinnati Bengals because y'all did it again.
Okay.
Okay, who your football team is?
So I
If
don't
you
have
say Dallas Cowgirls, I'm hanging up.
so I don't have an NFL team, but because we're from Ohio, the Buckeyes is
Buckeyes. Yeah.
yeah. So it is what it is. But we do have an email address called the Lindsay Podcast at gmail.com. If
Mhm.
questions, comments, concerns, topics you would like us to speak on, feel free to email us. We both have access to it. We also have a YouTube page, the Lindsay Sisters Podcast. There will be a Facebook coming, Instagram coming at some point. Um, just a little FYI. I am also a certified life coach. So I feel like I get some of my topic and teaching style basically from life coaching and helping other people privately go through whatever it is that they're going through. Um, I'm excited about this, and I'm excited about our next topic and to see the comments. I want to know what you feel about accountability. Are you accountable or no? How do you
Tell us
feel
what you
about
think.
the people around you? You know?
Or yourself. Because, if you're bold enough and you could be honest, you could tell us. If you don't want to put it down in the box, send it to the email. We'll read it. If you have it'll get to a point where we will share anonymous stories. We won't put your name in if you don't want to, but if you do, hey, but we will read it first because some of y'all got some crazy stories I don't need to hear about. Somebody want to be Batman and Robin on top of a skyscraper doing something they ain't got no business. We ain't talking about that. So we will read it. I'll read it because I'm nosy, but I'm gonna be thinking, what the hell prompted that? I gotta know more, but I ain't sharing this. But you can send it to the email. But no, again, you can find us on YouTube. It is called the Lindsay Sisters Podcast. Look for our faces; it's in the logo because there are a few podcasts with that last name. So you will find it on there. We will be doing another one on some more topics soon. So just be looking for it. And thank you for watching. And don't forget to like and share so other individuals can find us too.
And
Until
we'll end on the affirmation. And the
yes,
affirmation is going to be invest in yourself.
exactly. Because ain't nobody else gonna do it. Well, you might get a couple, but you got to be the main investor. Everybody else can be private, silent, whatever you want to call it. Invest in yourself, discover who you are, figure out what you want to do. If there is not an opportunity for what you want to do, I was always told by someone with much, much wisdom, create that opportunity. Even when you don't see it, create it.
I agree.
So, because you never know what you might discover. And so, yeah, thank y'all for watching. Until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye.